you believe in may be different from mine, and what I believe in may be different. I don't mind. Believe what you think, and I believe in mine. And in the end, we are living life. What you believe in, I don't mind. Our views and their views may not be the same. Mutual love and respect brings peace. I don't mind. We believe.
It's a brand new episode of The Believe on KAFTAN Television, and I hope you all are doing well. Quickly, let's move on to the topic for today: Christianity and birth control. For much of history, the issue of birth control has been a constant source of dissent between the Catholic Church and the secular world. Married couples use contraception for a variety of reasons. Some feel called to put off childbearing until they are in a better position to care for children. Ultimately, a couple's motivates for delaying childbearing, using contraception, or even having numerous children are between them and God. Some conclude that the natural family planning is acceptable, but artificial means are not. My question to you viewers is it right for Christians to use birth control, or is artificial contraception a sin? We'll be talking about this after the break. Stay tuned.
Mutual love and respect brings peace.
Welcome back to The Believe on KAFTAN Television, and yes, still on the topic, Christianity and birth control. Human beings have been trying to control their fertility through various means since the dawn of civilization. The Bible extols the value of children, noting that children are the Lord's heritage and the fruit of the womb as a reward. The Bible also says that anyone who does not provide for his relatives, especially members of his household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. With all of this in mind, it is important to understand that caring for a child means making wise decisions so that one has the means, including emotional investment, financial resources, and time, to provide good care. This may mean that a couple limits the number of children they have in order to best provide for each child's emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. And of course, God is the ultimate master. He can choose to bring a life into the world anytime he chooses, even if it defies human wisdom. However, God has commanded his people, particularly in the books of Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, to make wise decisions, and this extends to building a family. Christian ideas about contraception come from church teachings rather than scripture, as the Bible has little to say about the subject. As a result, their teaching on birth control are often based on different Christian interpretations of the meaning of marriage, sex, and the family. In modern times, different Christian churches hold different views about the rightness and wrongness of using birth control. Liberal Protestant churches often teach that it is acceptable to use birth control to regulate the size and spacing of their family, as long as it is not used to encourage or permit promiscuous behavior. The Roman Catholic Church only allows natural birth control, which means only having sex during the infertile period of a woman's monthly cycle. Artificial methods of contraception are prohibited. Thus, the only way for a Catholic couple to be faithful to the church's teaching on human sexuality and to avoid having children is to use natural family planning. It is important to know that individuals in both cases are still seeking to regulate when to and when not to have children. And today in the studio, I have two honorable guests in the person of Reverend Father John Saanu Idris. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
It's nice having you in the program.
Thank you very much.
And we have Mrs. Adedayo Damilola, who is also a nurse. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
It's nice having you in the program today.
Thank you.
All right, quickly, yes, we are looking at Christianity and birth control, but I would like to start with you.
Okay.
Now, you're a professional.
Okay.
And you teach or you help individuals understand why spacing and birth control is important. Okay. But in the studio today, we just want to get your own opinion from a professional perspective now.
Okay.
How do you see birth control? Or in what relative will you classify it? Is it nice to be practiced as a person or a couple?
Definitely. In my own opinion, I strongly support that individual and couple practice family planning.
Okay.
Because it's a lot safer for both couple and even the society at large.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's for you, it's
For me,
okay.
it's very okay.
Would you or do you agree that family planning, because we know that yes, the Orthodox churches, they don't actually practice family planning in terms of using contraceptive, except for the natural means. So what is your own take in this scenario?
Yeah, the Catholic Church, of course, support family planning.
Okay.
But what we support is the natural family planning as against the artificial family planning.
Okay.
And then when we talk about family planning, it's a way of regulating the number of children that a couple can bear.
Okay.
So the natural planning of birth control is in line with the natural law.
Okay.
And God dictates that children are gift and heritage from the Lord. So the church supports the natural flow of life as against artificial flow.
What is that big problem with the artificial planning?
Okay, the big problem with artificial planning, which is normally called contraception,
Okay.
is that we have to understand first what is the meaning of contraception. Contraception is from two Latin words, contra and concepto.
Okay.
Contra means against or opposed to something, while concepto is conceive. Automatically it means etymologically that contraception is working against conception, working against life. It is an anti-life mentality that contradicts the injunctions of God that we should be fruitful and multiply.
Wow. I think I'm just schooled, but let me come over to you. Contraception, he just kicked against it.
Okay.
And that is the artificial means, actually. But medically, it's okay. And nobody kicked against it medically. But from what he has quoted, what would you have to say?
Okay, what he quoted was that God said we should be fruitful.
Okay.
We should multiply. He also said that we should replenish the earth and subdue it.
Okay.
That's the later part of what he quoted. So if we can think of being fruitful and multiply, we should also think of subduing that fruitfulness. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I think
God,
you have to explain.
Yes, God is not happy when it tells us that we should be fruitful and multiply. So if it tells us that we should be fruitful and multiply, we're trying to be fruitful. And that fruitfulness, those children that God brings about concerning the conception, are not properly taken care of, you understand, are not properly brought up. God will not be happy, because he said that whoever makes any of these little ones to sin, it is worthy of tying a stone, big stone, around that person's neck and drowning the person. For God to have said that, that means he valued children so much, and it will not allow anybody against concerning any belief to tamper with those children.
Okay.
As much as we think of being fruitful, we should think of adequately catering for those children.
So does that kick against or does that support the use of contraception, maybe medically?
Yes, it supports the use of contraception medically, because for couple, God even said that once you are married, your body does no longer belong to you, it belongs to your spouse.
Okay.
So if you're going concerning the natural family planning, the time, if natural family planning will be adequately practiced, the time that couple will have to stay away from sex will be a lot more than the time they have to meet. And that means depriving one another, all because they don't want to have children. We are still bottling down to the same issue. We don't want to have children that will not be able to cater for. But the perspective, the way we are coming towards it is what differ. So if I will not want to have children, using the natural method. Why will I not want to do that same thing if there is another way about it, and we will both satisfy ourselves, which is one of the reasons why God instituted marriage.
I think I'll direct your question to our Honorable Reverend. She just asked the question, and I think the question caught my attention. If we don't want to have kids and we just want to follow the natural means, or there's a natural means to it, then what stops us from using the artificial means?
Well, we have to understand that first, the contraceptive mentality is a mentality that seeks freedom without responsibility.
Freedom. Okay, explain.
So, which means that
okay.
People, by using contraceptive pills, they want to enjoy the pleasure in conjugal act.
Okay.
But the consequences of that act, which is pregnancy, they are not ready to be responsible for it.
So do you support having numerous kids and maybe you don't have emotional stability and financial capability to actually take care of these kids?
Natural family planning does not say that we should have as many children as we want to have. What is regulated is that natural family planning encourages couple to regulate the number of child or children that we have by using the natural means. For instance, those who use artificial natural planning, for instance, the use of condom, they don't want to be pregnant, but they want to enjoy sex. I would say no, that children are gift from the Lord. Every conjugal act, every sexual intercourse should be open to life. And in a way, both the natural and artificial family planning, all of them are trying to avoid pregnancy. But the first, which is artificial family planning, what it does is that it wants the couple to enjoy the conjugal act and the responsibility that comes with it. They are denying it. They are rejecting it. But for the natural family planning, we say, use it. Couples should come together. There are times that the wife, what we call infertile period, a period where the woman will not be pregnant even they come together. But that those periods should be period that they should give themselves to one another, and if possible, during that period where the woman is infertile and they come together, the woman is still open to life. She can still be pregnant. But artificial are denying that responsibility by saying that we decide on our own the number of children that we want to have. They are what? Usurping the work of God, who is the owner of life.
Quickly, I know you still have much to say, but I will just quickly go on a short break, and after that, I will pick it up from there. Stay tuned.
Our views and their views may not be the same. Mutual love and respect brings peace.
Welcome back. It's Still the Believe on KAFTAN Television, and of course we'll be looking at Christianity and birth control, and we are joined by Reverend Father John Saanu Idris and Mrs. Adedayo Damilola. Okay, Mrs. Adedayo, I want to come to you quickly. Reverend Father said something before the break, that we just want to enjoy the acts, but we don't want to embrace the consequences. And it kept me thinking over time that, okay, must the act always come with consequences? One. Then the other thing is, maybe medically, it has always been recorded that sex is actually good for the health. So, should we always expect consequences while trying to favor our health situations or our health issues?
You know, that's the big question that I would have also liked to ask
Father.
Yes. So if he's saying that, that means it's been expected of a woman to get pregnant every month. Okay, let me say once in 9 months, because once a woman gets pregnant, for the she will be able to get pregnant only after she delivers.
Okay.
So that means we will have to be reproducing every year just because we want to be responsible. You know, when people have malaria, it's quick for them to take. Nobody thinks of it as an artificial method at that time.
Okay.
You take drugs and you are okay. Even when it goes to having surgical intervention just to have our health, then nobody thinks that it's artificial. But it is when it comes to birth control, being responsible, forgetting the fact that it is not only about not having children, it's not only about not being responsible, but it's about having a better society at large.
Okay.
It's about being able to raise good children that will become responsible adults in the nearest future, that will be able to have even a better church and a better society, a better nation at large. So our health should not trying to say that we should have children because we want to be responsible. We should not say it should override our health. You know, when couples come together, the society we have now, a lot of people are going through a lot of stress from different angles. So when couples come together and they meet, they are relaxed. That's what one of the things that sex does, apart from bringing children.
Okay.
Bringing children is just one of the reasons why couples should have sex. In fact, during the marital, what's it called? During the wedding, they read a lot of things why God instituted marriage, and having children is just one of it. So, forgetting that fact, that is just one aspect of it. You should be able to cope with other aspects. It is not about being responsible. It is even when you choose to have the number of children that you'll be able to cater for properly, that you are being responsible. Because it doesn't only take just bringing the children into the world. A lot of things are involved. Just like you said in your introduction time, you have to teach them the way of God. You even have to take them to church. When you have 10 children, how do you convert those children to church and they listen to the word of God? Do you understand? So that is the aspect I'm looking at it from.
Okay, quickly further, do you support birth control? Do you agree with birth control?
Nobody says we should not control the number of children that we have.
Okay, but right now, because I want us to see it from the normal perspective. Let's come to Nigeria as a country. We have individuals going out of control, giving birth to numerous children without proper care, and it's costing us a lot currently. And my question is, if we are not, if we don't support artificial means, just as she said earlier, that the number of mating time between the man and the woman will be reduced, because we want to control naturally instead of artificially. Will that actually bond the marriage?
Yeah, it will. And first, I must let you know that, do you know that there was a time in history that all the world over did not support contraception?
Okay.
Contraception became a thing that we talk about during the Lambert Conference of 1930. Unanimously, nobody thinks about contraception before. But because at a point, in the bid to control the number of children that people have, and in the bid to enjoy the conjugal act, only for its sole reason, for enjoyment's sake, the idea of contraception came in. The idea of condom came in.
Yeah.
The idea of many things came in. But nobody is denying the fact that the spacing of children is not a good thing.
But how do you do that when we have to abstain for a longer period before we mate?
It's not about abstaining from a longer period for birth control.
Okay.
First, we must know that even in marriage, there's what we call abstinence in marriage.
Okay.
The husband and wife should be able to abstain. They should be able to discipline themselves. There's what we call self-control. And this is brought about when they on their own, in line with the woman body system, there's what we call the Moko period for the woman, where the woman will not give birth, even if they have conjugal act. These are safe periods that the man and the woman can always come together. Nothing will happen instead of being pregnant. And we are saying that by contraception, everyone is avoiding pregnancy. And like you said at your introduction, you said it encourages what? Promiscuity. And let me say this. The church teaches this, that using artificial birth control, it is wrong because 1, it is against natural law.
Okay.
2, it breaks the natural connect between the procreative and the unitive act. The procreative is that be fruitful and multiply. The unitive is the companionship. You know, you should know too that the number 1 aim of marriage is what? Is companionship.
Okay.
The Bible says children are fruit from the Lord. So contraception separates the procreative from the unitive. That is what it does. And then again, it turns sex into a non-marital act. It turns sex to a non-marital act. Then it gives human beings the power to decide when I want to have life, when life should begin and when life should not begin. And then we're only saying that such decision belongs to who? Belongs to God.
How true is this? Quickly. How true is this?
You know, I'm just thinking, when we want to travel, he was saying something that the contraceptive period means came about in 1930. He is actually right. So he keeps saying that he's against the natural law. Do you know that for an airplane to fly and land in another country is against the natural law?
Wow.
But nobody is coming to say we should not travel by air. It wasn't right from inception. There was no place that people, even in the Bible times, travel by car. They didn't have car at that time. But God gave human. We continually increase in wisdom and knowledge just to bring about things that will even make us to be better. Because that is even the aim of God. When he started creation, he stopped at an extent and he gave man the power to continue from where he stopped from. And that is, look at this studio. Nobody was thinking about studio in some thousands of years ago, but because it's going to make us better. Nobody was thinking of Android, was thinking of phone. So is it not against the natural law for somebody to be here? You're speaking to somebody in the United States of America, but you're not a witch. But just by telecommunication, you can do that now. So God has given us that power, and we are trying. So
are you saying God gave human power to go against the natural law?
That is not against the natural law. Because
it's actually, you said when you're not a witch, communicating to somebody abroad, it's going against natural law.
It's okay.
So are you saying God gave human power to go against natural law?
What I'm just saying is that God gave human the power to continually increase in knowledge. As we increase in knowledge, God gave us that power to do that which is right and is supposed to be done. Yes, it's not about going against the natural law.
Okay, let me quickly ask this. Governments in some institutions and in some countries have enacted policies of number of kids you should give birth to and all that. Is that okay by you as a professional?
Yes, it's very okay by me.
Okay, I don't want you to explain, but quickly further. Government in institutions, in some states, in some countries, have enacted policies, laws guiding birth control. Do you accept this? Because there is no way any individual would go about this without an artificial means.
This is a book called The Catechism of the Catholic Church.
Okay.
In that book, it explains, it's a compendium of the teaching of the church. In number 2372, the church says that the state has a responsibility for its citizens' well-being. However, to dictate on the rightness and the wrongness of the number of children to have, it is not within the power of the government. But the government can provide policies and laws that will help individuals, that will help family on how to bring about children and to take care of them in a right way. Now, sometimes ago in 1958, some group of persons came together and say that God has given them the power And they attempted and concluded that God wanted the responsibility of deciding of the number of children to be left to the children, to the parents, to decide.
Okay.
This is not out of place. But again, this is good and important, but there is a problem with it. The problem is that the government now provides means through contraceptives, pills, through things that can help those families from going, I will keep saying natural law, against the law of God. No, for instance, now let's come to this. Contraception. What does it mean? It contradicts. It's anything contra is what? Is against. It contradicts. Contraception is a contradiction of marriage. Institution as the coming together of the bond of life and love.
Does any scripture support your claim?
Of course now.
Okay.
Okay, for instance, let's look at the book of Genesis, chapter 38, verse 3 to 10. We talk about onanism. Honor was a man whose brother died, and there was an instruction that his progeny should continue. He should get married to his brother's wife. But when they came together to enjoy the act, the conjugal act, the bonding, the sexual intercourse, he was ready to enjoy the intercourse. But when it was now time for him to ejaculate inside the woman, she released. That's what we call withdrawal. Withdrawal method. And what happened? God instantly killed Honor. Honor was struck dead and he died. He went against the natural law that whenever a man, of course you must know this, whenever a man and a woman comes together, the consequence should be that there must be life after it. It should be open. Every conjugal act should be open to life. So Honor was rejecting that.
I want to ask this, but I'll just put it open, then I will get your opinion and her opinion. If I'm to give birth to 10 children, it simply means I'm supposed to meet my wife 10 times. Is that true?
No, it's not true. God is saying, what if you have twins? What if you have triplets?
No, it's possible, but I'm saying that let's assume it's going to be maybe individually. Does that mean throughout my life I'm supposed to meet with my wife 10 times?
Nobody is saying that. There are periods for women that they will have intercourse with them, they will not be pregnant. These are called, I already explained before, they are called safe period. Now, the church enjoys and encourages what we call, according to Pope St. John Paul II, in his document, Humanae Vitae, we talk about responsible parenthood.
Okay.
That every parent has a responsibility to give birth to children that they can cater for. Today we have many bastards outside there. Today we have many children that their parents cannot care for. No, in short, the economy of our country should also encourage parents. Sometimes you have to look at this as Christians. Where do you throw discipline? Where do you throw self-control? Where do you throw abstinence?
Okay, I believe maybe medically, the term contraceptive is permitted in marriage, and basically, maybe my own thought too, it's not to promote promiscuity, but to help birth control. But right now, I think I'm in between two lines where Father is saying it's not supposed to, and you are saying it is accepted. But quickly, for the viewers out there, I want you to just give your last opinion. How do you feel this should be carried out?
Okay. Before I give my opinion, please permit me to quickly react to the story of Honor I told. Okay. God struck Honor dead just because of his intent. He didn't want to share his heritage with his brother's children. Okay. He didn't want to share his inheritance with the children that will be produced by his brother's wife. Okay. That was why God struck him dead. That for Honor to have engaged in the method, the withdrawal method, just like he rightly said, that means that was what was practiced then. That should be what
was practiced then.
Yes, what has been.
So that means
then.
there is a withdrawal method then.
Yes.
Do you agree with this, Father?
It.
No.
Okay.
Well, we have to. We have to. I don't know if you have had. I don't know if you've done. There is what we call exegesis and eisegesis in scriptures.
Okay.
Have you had exegesis about that part of the scriptures? Go and do research on it. It is one of the ways by which God condemns and that the church stands against what we call contraception. In short, I must let you know too that for biblical backup for contraception, and like you said through your introduction, is more or less such church teachings on how to control family, sex, and individual responsibility about the begetting of children.
Okay.
But we need to know.
But where did Honor get the idea of withdrawal?
Well, because he doesn't want to be responsible for.
That means the idea existed before.
No.
No, he cannot
the
just
Bible,
come up with the
Bible
idea.
The Bible did not have any other account aside honor. Yeah.
Okay, your last word, please.
So the Bible says, told Joshua that Joshua told the children of Israel that I place before you, choose today whom you will. Choose today whom you will serve. He said, as for me, I will serve the Lord Almighty. The power that God has given to human, the first power is the power of choice.
Okay.
So he has given us that instinct, he has given us that idea to choose rightly. So it is left for us as individual. There are times that the woman's health is even at stake. Yeah, that there are couples that travel and they don't stay together. So when they come together, the only time they are coming together in a month is when the woman is in an ovulation period. So you tell them to stay apart that period, and the man goes back to where it's coming from, or the woman goes back to where it's coming from. The next month they repeat the same thing. So the power of choice is the power that God has given to a human. I just want to enjoy us that we choose right. Okay. Contraceptive does not harm. It only make us to enjoy our lives better. It's beneficial to the husband, to the wife, to the children, and to the entire society at large, because it will reduce the number of hoodlums, it will reduce the number of hooligans, and the society will be a better place at large, even the church.
Okay, Father, quickly, let's have your last words.
Well, before I go, I must say that to date, only the Catholic Church is the only church that frowns against artificial birth control in its totality and discourages a member by seeing it as morally evil. But in all, as Christians, we must always make a fundamental option for God, no matter what happens. It's a contradiction of the natural law that God has given to man. Contraceptive mentality, it is a selfish mentality, seeking freedom without responsibility. Let every human being return to the practice of the natural means of birth control, which is safer, which is better. We should respect the natural law. We should respect the body of the woman. The woman should not be seen as object for sex. All right. And this is what our word lacks. So let us all return. The woman must not be seen as what? As object for sex.
Thank you so much. Here we are. We've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much once again, sir. I really appreciate you. And Mrs. Adedayo, thank you again. I appreciate you. All right, quickly. The issue of birth control is controversial. Parents have a great decision-making power in raising a family. There are different opinions on whether or not the use of contraceptives is permitted. Even if some people view non-abortifacient contraceptives as permissible, a couple may still choose natural family planning because of their own convictions. I thank you once again. I am Prince Alex. Until I come your way next time. Bye for now.
What you believe in may be different from mine, and what I believe in may be different. I don't mind. Believe what you think, and I believe in mine. And in the end, we are living life. What you believe in, I don't mind. Our views and their views may not be the same. Mutual love and respect brings peace.